want to get hit, don't get in the ring.
Diddy has very few people left on his side these days. The only ones who seem to be defending him are his children.
I feel like with my family, like I'm so cutthroat with that. Like there's nothing that could.
But some people find it hard to believe that even his own family could still be loyal to him at this stage.
At the length fans will go, no matter the evidence to the contrary, to defend celebrities they love. I mean, there's a reason for this word fans. They're fanatics. I've personally already been threatened multiple times on social media. And when I agreed to pursue this, I expected as much. This isn't my first rodeo. But victims who step forward to have their voices heard should not be subjected to that kind of conduct. They should not be targeted. I want to say this, and I want to be clear about it. Although we are vetting each call as stringently as we can, I always start with a mindset that I believe victims, because I understand the tremendous courage it takes to step forward. So if you're watching this, please hear me. If you're out there and you have been victimized, you are not alone. There is a great strength in numbers. You can seek redress. You can obtain justice. We can help you, and we will help you. That being said, as stated, we are vetting every call that we receive. We have had to turn away some. For each, we ask for corroboration. For each, we ask for the identity of witnesses. We also have collected pictures, videos, texts. We check venues, we check dates. We want to corroborate that the claims being made have legitimacy and merit. We have on staff now a former detective from the Major Offenders Unit of Houston Police Department who is helping us vet each claim. We're using our common sense. We're being stringent because, as I said, these are not easy cases. They're very tough. The process is hard, and in some cases, the process is very lengthy. These cases are hard to prove. Many times it's the victim's word against the alleged perpetrator. Each of these victims will no doubt be publicly attacked by the alleged perpetrators, and in some cases, the general public. The feckless and cowardly keyboard warriors love to attack. We know what we're up against. We did not enter this fray blindly. I wish it was my last such fray. I wish this type of behavior wasn't so pervasive, but it is what it is, so we will press on. As I said, our law firms have been retained by 120 individuals at this point to pursue cases in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs. You should know, in this group, it is evenly divided between males and females. There are 60 males and 60 females who have joined us to pursue these claims as plaintiffs. In this group, 62% identify as African American, 30% are white, and the remainder are Hispanic or Asian. The victims are from more than 25 states. The majority are from California, New York, Georgia, and Florida. And I want to focus on the ages of these victims. When we talk about the ages of the victims when the conduct occurred, it's shocking. Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old.
It's been rumored that Diddy's adoptive son, Quincy Brown, is secretly working against him. And you'll never believe what's been said about why he's supposedly betraying his own father. With everything going on with Diddy, it's hard to believe that anyone would want to stand up for him, except for his lawyers, of course.
So this was the first step. We have a bail appeal scheduled for tomorrow at 3:30 in front of Judge Carter, the district judge assigned to this case. I think that we made the points that we've been wanting to make. I think it came out. Mr. Combs is a fighter. He's going to fight this to the end. He's innocent. He came to New York to establish his innocence. He's not afraid. He's not afraid of the charges. There's nothing that the government said in their presentation today that changes anyone's mind about anything. He's been looking forward to this day. He's been looking forward to clearing his name, and he's going to clear his name. And we're going to stand by his side as he does. We believe in him wholeheartedly. He didn't do these things. This was a 10-year relationship. There's no coercion. There's no crime. There's basically just, someone who brought a civil case and now is finding themselves as a witness in a criminal case. And we're going to fight this case with everything we have, as is he. And eventually he's going to be shown to be innocent. And so tomorrow we fight again, and we'll fight every day until we don't have to fight anymore.
Why did it happen last night instead of today as planned?
I don't know. The question is, why did it happen last night instead of today? I don't know the answer to that question. I just want to make one point very clear. We have no power All we can do is show good faith.
But what a lot of people forget is that to his 7 children, Diddy isn't just the disgraced hip-hop mogul the world has come to know him as. He's also their dad. Diddy has 6 biological children and 1 son that he adopted when he was just a little boy. But some people think that because Quincy isn't a blood relative, there's a chance that he isn't as loyal to him as the other kids are. Quincy's parents are Kim Porter and Al B. Sure, but Diddy raised him.
When someone cheats and they have a child with someone else, that's my boundary. You know, that's, for me, that's where I draw the line. And so with that happening, it made it a little easier to leave.
A YouTube vlogger who goes by the name Donation said some pretty dark things about how Quincy ended up with Diddy as his adoptive father. He said that according to reports, Diddy allegedly lured Quincy's mom, Kim Porter, from her ex, singer Al B, sure, aka Quincy's dad. People reported that the pair began dating in the mid-90s when Quincy was just 3 years old, and Quincy has a rocky road with his biological father, Al B. Sure, some felt that Diddy fueled that anger towards his father.
Quincy has a father, man, and his name is Al B. Sure, man. I don't like the way this dude be like, yo, pops, and all this type. That's not your father. That's your father.
Yeah, it's a lot of people that feel like he doing too much, man. You seen how he took a shot at his dad on IG? Check your tits.
Who posted it? Okay, hang on. Quincy on Instagram. Here's a rare photo of me with my mom and dad. I miss you every day. Where's the dad? Oh, so he's trying to act like dad was always missing. That's what he's trying to say. Somebody said, well, I'll be damned. He said shading him, but backing the baby oil bandit is wild. Rest in peace, Kim. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't understand the dynamic that might have happened with, you know what I mean? The father and your mother. Like, first of all, the fact that I know for a fact that Al B. Sure and Puff and all that, they came up together. So for this nigga to end up with his man's girl, diabolical work. Diabolical work, okay? Like, super disrespectful, super against all the OG codes that you was taught when you was young. You don't your man's girl and all this type, let alone have babies with her and all this type. Like, and now you got her, you know what I mean? This man's son calling you pops, yo, that shit is just, I feel like this nigga Puff really hated this nigga Al B. Sure.
Diddy ended up adopting Quincy, and he remained in his life, even when he and Kim would break up, which happened quite a few times.
I need to know, do you think that Diddy killed Kim Porter?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because of all the videotapes, because of the book, because of all the people she gave copies of her book to, or at least chapters, because of everything that she had on him.
But here's where Donation's claims get even more wild. He alleged that Diddy placed Quincy under a conservatorship so that he would have power and control over his life. So, because of this conspiracy theory, it's been said that Quincy is just pretending to have a good relationship with Diddy, but it's actually an illusion, and he feels suffocated by him.
The day Uptown Records started with 5 people: Andre Harrell, Al B. Sure, Heavy D, and Puffy. And Kim was the longest working employee because she was there from the very beginning. She was Andre's personal assistant. Kim is dead. Heavy D is dead. Andre Harrell is dead. Heavy D was found dead, face down in the heart attack. Andre Harrell, heart attack. Kim died from pneumonia, but there's the first coroner's report that said that she died. It was ruled a homicide, and they found toxins in her body to prove that she had been poisoned. You know, they have poisons that create heart attack and pneumonia-like symptoms. And then right after that, Al had a meeting, and I was gonna meet up with him because we were in Vegas, and then the next thing you know, you wanna know what they all had in common though? The survivors and the late of Uptown Records, they were all writing tell-all books.
To back up this claim, Donation gave a pretty bizarre example of how Quincy has been secretly trying to hint to the public that he is not on Diddy's side. I'm sure you've all heard by now the theory that Kim didn't pass away from pneumonia like the coroner reported, but had her life taken from her because she knew too much. There are plenty of allegations online that say that if Diddy wanted someone out of the picture because they had dirt on him or they were getting in his way, he would just order a hit on them. So, a lot of online users on sites like Reddit believe that Kim was going to release a tell-all book about Diddy, and when he found out, he supposedly ended her life.
According to you, you have the flash drive. On that note, nobody has seen the flash drive.
Well, that's not true.
I mean, publicly, where they can verify.
Publicly, there's multiple people who've seen the flash drive.
Do you plan on at any time introducing the flash drive to any network or anybody that wants to see it to view the metadata involved in that flash drive as to time, dates, and stamps.
Yeah.
And when would you be doing that?
Well, there's tapes on the flash drive.
No, I'm specifically talking about.
I'm saying all of it.
Yeah.
Just think of it like a totality.
Well, not even the totality.
I haven't shown anything from it yet.
Okay, so not even the totality of it, but simply the metadata.
Yeah,
as to time when alleged that this was purportedly written by Kim, dates, times, because I understand the book really doesn't have a structural date time. It's basically
she left a lot of the dates out, so it's hard to know what award ceremony they're at. I had to research a lot of stuff too.
Okay.
Some of the things I couldn't peg down the date at all.
Okay.
Because she's not putting in the exact 1996, like she's not saying that.
Okay.
And it jumps. A lot of it jumps around.
Okay.
I do believe Kim was writing it over a multi-year period.
Okay.
So she's putting some stuff here, then she's combining these things later. Or, remember, all writers do this too. You think back to the event and you play it out in your head. So as I've said, yeah, when the time's right, I will start showing. Right now, there's some other people that actually have access to the flash drive and they're threatening to leak tapes, okay? That's right now I'm trying to deal with them. So I'm not gonna try to beat them to the punch and say, well, I'm gonna release this famous person on tape. Not yet. I'm whistleblowing.
But it was made to look like she passed away from natural causes.
Kim died from pneumonia, but there's the first coroner's report that said it was ruled a homicide and they found toxins in her body to prove that she had been poisoned. You know, they have poisons that create heart attack and pneumonia-like symptoms.
Jaguar Wright went further to spill her concerns about Diddy's actions in Hollywood over the years, noting his consistency in evading consequences. She highlighted the shock many felt when Cassie filed a lawsuit against him, only for it to be settled within 24 hours, a remarkably quick resolution.
Even Quincy's biological father believes that Kim's life was taken from her, per The Hollywood Reporter. According to Donatillon's YouTube video, Quincy also believed that Diddy was responsible for his mom's passing, so he found a secret way to let the public know. An article by That Grape Juice revealed that Quincy dressed as the Mexican artist Frida Kahlo for Halloween in 2020. Donatillon claimed that there was a specific reason he chose her of all people to dress up as that year. The vlogger said that he'd heard that it was because there were some parallels between Kim and Frida. Though the artist was also said to have passed away because of pneumonia, he claimed that there was a theory that she was secretly poisoned.
You know, I spoke to Al a couple of times, and he texted me a couple of times too. I think knowing the history of them two, if he did increase his security, he have every right to. And I believe that Al knows that Puff has some powerful people, or had some powerful people around him, and some people doing some things for him that could danger his life. His life could be in danger. I don't think nobody would be paying for some security if they didn't think their life was in danger. So I could see Al doing that. I understand why Al is doing that. And I just wish them all the luck. You gotta realize, man, wasn't even investigated, bro. Her death wasn't even investigated. And it should have been a proper investigation so all the family members can feel like that there was no foul play in her death. How is it that you know how we are as a people? I don't believe that 10% of your viewers that's watching this don't keep their phone when they go to sleep in arm reach. How is it that there was no electronic products or gadgets around Kim's bed? Her laptop missing, her cell phone's missing. Everything is missing that she could get in touch with her little girls if they not at home, or her friends or family. All that's missing. How is it that this is hearsay? The detectives did not even view the body in the bed where she died at. That the coroner them had already removed her, pronounced her dead, and told the detectives them that it was no foul play. And if that is true, as I've heard it, and we read certain things on the internet about it, that case need to be reopened. We know that Kim, and it's in the this is in the documentation. Shout out to paperwork. At the paperwork part, I gotta shout him out, man, because he looked in the paperwork and it said Kim received a massage for about an hour when she's supposed to have full-blown pneumonia. Who gives somebody a massage when they got pneumonia.
The same theory exists for Kim. So Donatian argued that Quincy believed that theory and wanted to quietly show that to the world by dressing up as someone who'd supposedly suffered the same fate as his mom. He claimed that this was the reason why he was willing to risk people ridiculing him and questioning if he was straight or not. Donatian made similar claims in a Lipstick Alley thread, and even added that Quincy was working with the FBI behind the scenes to try to get Diddy locked up for good.
Breaking news: Sean P. Diddy Combs has been arrested and indicted on federal charges. The disgraced music icon has faced startling allegations for months of sexual assault, physical abuse, trafficking, and trafficking. On Monday evening, he was indicted by a grand jury in New York. He was taken into custody in Manhattan, where he's been for the last week in anticipation of these charges. Now, the charges haven't been made public just yet. In fact, the indictment was sealed. But according to the New York Times, a person familiar with the prosecution says they believe Diddy faces charges of racketeering and sex trafficking. Diddy's legal team said they were disappointed with the decision to prosecute, but mentioned their client has been cooperative with law enforcement. A statement from his legal team reads, quote, "Sean Diddy Combs is a music icon, self-made entrepreneur, loving family man, and proven philanthropist who has spent the last 30 years building an empire, adoring his children, and working to uplift the Black community. He is an imperfect person, but is not criminal." To his credit, Mr. Combs has been nothing but cooperative with this investigation, and he voluntarily relocated to New York last week in anticipation of these charges. Please reserve your judgment until you have all the facts. These are the acts of an innocent man with nothing to hide, and he looks forward to clearing his name in court. All this comes about 6 months after 2 of Diddy's homes were raided by federal investigators back in March. Then we couldn't confirm Diddy was the target of the Homeland Security raids or what information the feds collected. Most of what we know came from the 5 civil suits with a series of shocking allegations ranging from the 90s until now. Multiple people allege Diddy them and recorded all of that. We can't confirm it just yet, but it was likely those civil lawsuits that led up to the federal investigation and later Diddy's arrest. This is breaking news that is constantly developing, so stay with Law and Crime for all the latest updates. For now, let's take a look back at the allegations leading up to Diddy's arrest. For the past 3 decades, we've come to know Sean Combs as multiple different names. P. Diddy, Puffy, Puff Daddy, Puff. The 54-year-old is a rapper, entrepreneur, and label exec. Things changed for him on March 25th when Homeland Security raided 2 of his homes, one in California and the other in Florida. There's no word yet whether Diddy himself was the target of those raids, and he's not been charged criminally. That being said, some allegations of his criminal past became a major topic of conversation when news of the raids broke.
That's what was so stunning when Cassie Ventura filed her lawsuit earlier this year. It kind of broke the dam, and it was just the floodgates opened and all of these other allegations started to come to the surface.
But what are the chances that Quincy is really snitching on his dad? From what he's been showing the public since his father's arrest, it really doesn't look like he would be going behind his back. But then I guess that's kind of what Donatian is suggesting. It's just a front. Quincy has taken the lead and has been speaking for his younger half-siblings by releasing statements on their behalf. Vibe reported that he recently put one out that showed how they were sticking by their father. In an Instagram post, he wrote that the past month had devastated their family. But it started a year before that when Cassie filed a lawsuit against his dad.
R&B singer Cassie has accused hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs of and a decade of physical abuse. The two were romantically involved for years, but in a lawsuit made public today, Cassie says there was a pattern of control, use, and forced sexual encounters.
KTLA 5's Samantha Cortese joins us live in studio with more details on the bombshell lawsuit. Sam?
Yeah, singer Cassie met mogul Sean Combs when she was a teenage model for his clothing line, a nearly 20-year age gap, but their relationship became romantic and lasted a decade. Now Cassie's claiming that Met Gala, behind the scenes, the award shows, the relationship was fraught with abuse and intimidation.
Well, you're the one I wanna give it to.
You couldn't escape this song in 2006. Now Cassandra Ventura, stage name Cassie, says she couldn't escape the bad boy himself, Sean Combs. In a bombshell lawsuit, Cassie alleges the Bad Boy Records music mogul physically and sexually abused her, throughout their 10-year relationship, which began when she was 19 years old and he was 37.
Man, what y'all wanna do? Wanna be ballers, shot callers, brawlers?
The lawsuit headlines with a trigger warning for containing graphic sexual assault information, describing in detail trafficking allegations, in which Combs would force Cassie to take wear masks, and perform acts on other men so he could watch. Cassie says Combs her when she tried to leave him. She says he beat her, then made her stay in hotels or his home until the bruises healed, and his security would make sure she did what Combs wanted or else. The federal civil lawsuit even claims Combs blew up rapper Kid Cudi's car when he heard about Cassie and Cudi's brief relationship. Cudi's lawyers confirmed this happened. Cassie is seeking unspecified damages.
The end of this is money. That's what a civil suit is. So no matter what he did to her, in a civil suit, the end is always going to be money.
Combs' attorney told the New York Times Cassie has been asking for $30 million in hush money. Cassie's lawyer says he offered 8 figures and she turned it down. Entertainment attorney Dante Mills represents high-profile clients and says this will likely get settled out of court and quickly.
The one thing that strikes me is they not only did they name Sean Combs, they also named Epic Records. They also named Bad Boy. To me, when you do something like that, what you're trying to do is put pressure on the people you're suing so that this does not go to trial. He's going to have to determine is $30 million worth all of my dirty laundry coming out? Because if this goes to trial, that's what's going to happen.
Many of the alleged incidents happened around town here in LA, but the case was filed in New York. No criminal charges have been brought against Sean Combs. His lawyers say Combs denies these claims and calls them offensive and outrageous.
Quincy pointed out that many people had judged both Diddy and them based on accusations, conspiracy theories, and false narratives that had spiraled into absurdity on social media. He added, "We stand united, supporting you every step of the way. We hold on to the truth, knowing it will prevail, and nothing will break the strength of our family." He finished the statement by saying that he and his siblings missed and loved their dad. I mean, I honestly feel so bad for Diddy's kids. Obviously, no one wants to see their parent as someone who could be capable of doing some of the terrible things he's been accused of, and feeling like the whole world is against a person that you love must be super hard. With Diddy behind bars and Kim gone, the children they had together don't even have a parent in their lives to look after them. Quincy's dad is still around, but because of their rocky past and the accusations that Al B sure has made against Diddy over the years, it's unclear how close they are these days. 15 years ago, Quincy let the whole world know exactly how he felt about his biological dad. He wrote an open letter to him, and he didn't hold anything back in it. He started by saying that he grew up without his father. He watched other kids enjoy the love of theirs, and he searched for a way to come to terms with his situation. He talked about how he'd imagine what his life would have been like with his dad in it. Quincy also explained that Diddy had been a father figure to him for as long as he could remember, and that he was the person that he looked up to and appreciated. He admitted that he was the one who helped mold him into the person he'd become, and he would always try to live up to Diddy's expectations. According to Quincy, his adoptive father had always been supportive of him, and he would forever love and respect him. But the question is, does he still feel that same way about him now? Or have things changed? Judging by what he wrote in the recent statement by him and his siblings, it definitely looks like he wants the public to see that he still cares for his dad. And this wasn't even the first time that he spoke out against allegations that have been circulating online. In September 2024, Quincy posted another statement on Instagram on behalf of his siblings, but that one was focused more on the rumors surrounding their mother's tragic passing. He wrote that while it had been incredibly difficult to reconcile how their mom could be taken from them so soon, the cause of her passing had long been determined, and they claimed that there was no foul play. Quincy shared that grief was a lifelong process, which was why the siblings asked that everyone respect their request for peace as they continued to cope with her loss every day. He continued the statement by writing that they were all deeply saddened that the world had made a spectacle of what had been the most tragic event of their lives. He explained that their mother should be remembered for the beautiful, strong, kind, and loving woman she was, and her memory should not be tainted by horrific conspiracy theories. Quincy finished by pleading for everyone to respect Kim and to hold her legacy in high regard so that she might rest in peace. Since he has often spoken about his admiration for his adoptive father, and he is taking the helm in these public statements defending his dad's honor, I'd honestly be surprised if he were betraying him behind closed doors, but I suppose stranger things have happened. Anyway, what do you guys think about all this? Has Quincy been controlled by Diddy his entire life? And could he actually be working against him with the feds? Or is he still genuinely loyal to the man that he grew up thinking of as a father figure? Let me know in the comments below.